up the zipper on the new vintage jumper. I know a lot of people get super intimidated by zippers. We're going to do it a super simple way. So get ready to jump in and love sewing zippers.
Hi guys, I'm here with my vintage jumper and I've sewn up to the steps of the zipper. So I'm doing the complete version here. So I have my two fronts together, my two backs together, and the one side seam that I'm going to put my zipper in. I tend to put my zipper in my right side because I'm right-handed. It's easy for me to zip and unzip myself on that side. I have sewn from the zipper all the way down with my normal stitch, and then I have basted from the top to the bottom of my zipper with just a basting stitch. I've pressed, although this fabric doesn't like to hold a press very well. I'm using a stretch suede here, so it doesn't have a very clear front and back. It also doesn't ravel, so I'm not finishing my edges. If your fabric is like a stretch denim and will ravel, you'll want to take the time right now to finish both edges on your side seam. We went with a little bit different method on putting the zipper in hopes that it would be a lot easier for someone who's never put a zipper in. So since I basted from the top to the bottom, I'm just gonna try to get spread out a little bit more and pressed my seam open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my zipper down exactly where I want it, which the top goes to the top. We have a seam allowance here, so we don't want to put our pull at the top right now. We want this extra space. So I'm going to put it up there. And then I'm going to do another pin, inch or two underneath. I'm going to leave this top section unsewn my first pass. And that's because it has the zipper pull, and the zipper pull is really bulky, and I can't, even with a zipper foot, I can't quite get in there. And with this method of basting it closed, you can't zip and unzip your zipper to get around it like you normally would. So I'm just going to throw a couple of pins in from this side because it's really easy to see. Using an invisible zipper, which is my preferred zipper for this method. This method will give you a really beautiful invisible zip. So all I'm doing is trying to align my zipper exactly with my basted seam. I'm going to sew from the right side of the fabric, so I'm not putting in a ton of pins right now. I'm just putting in a few to hold it in place. And here is where my zipper stops, so I'm going to put my last pin there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it around and pin it from the right side. Some other options you have are using some other thing to hold it in place for you, like a glue stick, stay tape, things like that will hold it in place for you. I usually just use pins. So what I'm going to do first is find my very bottom one and just replace the pin with one coming from the top so I can see it better. Okay. Just going to remove the other one that I had underneath. And I'm just going to do the same thing, adding pins down this way that I can easily remove as I'm actually setting the zipper from this top side. I don't remove any of the pins in the back until I'm all done, just in case, because again, they are holding everything exactly where I want. I usually do more pins this time than what I just did on the back side. I do quite a few pins so that I only have to go a very short distance before another pin is holding everything in place. Just a reminder, I'm going to be leaving this section unsewn. What we'll do is when we take out this basting stitch, we'll sew this section with the zipper pulled down so the zipper pull is out of the way. Forgot what I was doing for a second. I'm just going to get my trusty zipper foot here. It allows me to get my needle much closer to the zipper. Most machines come with a zipper foot. It's not something that you usually have to buy extra. So now that I have it pinned off from the front, I'm just going to go and remove these pins from the back side. Alright, I think we're getting nice and close. Hopefully you can see exactly what I'm doing here. I know the little light bulb from the sewing machine always gives up a little bit funky lighting, but hopefully it's nice and close. So what I'm going to do is I like to sew about 1/8 inch away from my basted stitch line. This is usually enough wiggle room where you're not worried about getting too close to the zipper that the zipper pull doesn't want to move through. I'm just pulling my thread through it if it had gotten caught. Just going slowly, removing my pins. As I get closer to them. My stretch suede. It's one of those fabrics that wants to stick to the foot really badly, which is why I'm kind of guiding it on the kind of the front and the back with my hands. Okay, when I get to the bottom where I had it marked, I'm just going to pivot, leave my needle down, turn. I'm going to go across the zipper, go nice and slow here. And I'm just going to come up the other side. have a pretty, quite a bit of fabric around here. This is an adult size, and it's not the full pant length, but the capri, so I have quite a bit of extra around here. I always like sewing from the top so that I can make sure it's looking exactly like I want it to look from the top. Okay, and I'm going to back stitch right there and stop, giving myself plenty of room to kind of do that top edge. So this is what we're looking like so far. Okay, I zoomed back out. This is what we're looking at so far. So I've sewn down, over, and back up. This part is still unsewn. So I'm just going to trim the threads so far. And unpin. Doesn't really matter if you unpin, but what we're going to do next is take out our basting stitch here. So I usually unthread it because it's a little bit easier to remove this basting stitch. Be careful when you are removing this basting stitch. A lot of people want to stick their seam ripper in, which some fabrics might work with, but if you have a more delicate fabric like I'm working with here, you might shred holes into your actual fabric instead of just getting the thread. So go nice and slow, be patient. If you're smart enough to leave yourself a long tail, which I did not do, I trimmed mine, then you can just pull the tail, but I forgot to leave my tail. And as you can see, that zipper is just going to line up right with my opening for my zipper. And it's going to be nice and even all the way down because it was basted right there. So it's going to line up nice and beautiful for us. It's an invisible zipper, so once it's zipped up, it's going to look just like it just did when the basting stitches were. I found this way easier when I was a beginner seamstress. This is the method that I would use anytime I wanted an invisible zip. And that is versus a more popular way where you just kind of press back the seam allowances and then stitch along each side, moving the zipper, pull as you go down. That's the method that I use more now that I am a more experienced seamstress. It's a little faster, you don't have to baste, and you don't have to remove any basting stitches. So it's the method I usually use now, but again, I thought this method was easier when I was younger, when just starting out. Basting stitch is all taken care of. I still have a little bit of loose threads, but I'll get that. Okay, so now most of our zipper is all sewn in and nice and neat. It kind of closes up, and all we're going to do now is unzip past where we have sewn and sew these top little sections here. I leave my zipper foot on, of course, and it's only a little tiny section you have to do like this now. I'm going to sew with that same eighth-inch seam allowance. And then once I meet my stitch line, I'm just going to reverse a tiny bit. And it looks like one stitch line now. And now I just need to do the other side. It's already got a nice creased press from being having that basting stitch in. And just line it up. I only have a little section to sew. There we go. Here we go. So now it's stitched all the way around and it was nice and easy. You only have to do a little section kind of free-handed instead of the entire thing. When you baste it up and do it basted, it just makes it a little bit easier to get that really nice, perfect, closed up zipper that you want. And then this top section that you end up doing, a good chunk of it is where the zipper pull is and then where the seam allowances is. So even if you're not quite as good at doing it that way, most of your zipper will be, and the most visible part of your zipper will be done with that basting stitch where it's nice and seamless. And as this part gets easier and easier, you know you are ready to do it the faster way without basting, where you just hem it and you go down the entire thing that way. So I hope this is an easy, nice beginner way to get a beautiful invisible zip, and I cannot wait to see yours. Good luck!